is Laura, and this is the very first video I'm doing on my YouTube channel called Lost and Found. So, wow, this has been a long time coming. I am so excited we're finally here, and I'm so excited to be doing this because I feel that it's going to impact not just me, but you as well, hopefully. And we go through this journey together. So, what is Lost and Found? So, I think for me to get into what Lost and Found is, I have to first of all explain a little bit on my journey when it comes to my health. So, where do I start? Okay, let me begin from 2016. So, in 2016, in October 2016, I gave birth to my firstborn, a boy, an amazing, lovely boy. And my husband and I were excited. First child, you know how it is, you're not sure, you're uncertain. And after I gave birth, I went through all the feelings all first time mothers go through. So I was excited, but I felt really scared. I asked for a lot of advice, read up online about motherhood, asked a ton of questions to my own mom and my sister, who's a mother, and everybody around me who could possibly help. And I got really great support. I was really, really fortunate. But I think the thing that was the maybe biggest struggle or the major challenge at the time was I wasn't able to have enough breast milk for my son. So what happened is here in Uganda, when someone is struggling with breast milk, or even if you're not struggling, you're encouraged to drink a lot of millet porridge. So that is what I did. We call it bushera. So I drank a lot of it. Well, initially I was like, I don't know, because I've heard this can make you like put on a lot of weight. But hey, I did it. I went for it. I drank tons of it, liters of it. And eventually that did cause a lot of weight gain. So by like beginning of 2017, I don't know how much heavier I was, but I was much heavier. So rather than losing that baby weight, I was just adding and putting on and putting on and putting on until reached a point where I was obese. So I'll talk in terms of kilograms, but I will put pounds at the bottom of the screen when I'm explaining. So before I was pregnant, I was about 68, 69 kilos. And by the end of the pregnancy, like literally just before birth, I was about 85 kilos. So after I give birth, I didn't check my weight, or if I did, I don't remember. But by, let's say, about 6 or so months later, I was about 92 or something. I was somewhere between 92 and 95 kilos. So I put on much more weight than I had been when I was just about to give birth. So, and I believe that was majorly because of the diet I was on, and that was mainly because of that stuff I was drinking. So I put on a lot of weight. And as anyone who has gained a lot of weight in a short period of time, they can tell you it's very uncomfortable. Unfortunately, I still didn't get the breast milk, imagine. But hey, I put on more weight, and it reached a point I was really, really uncomfortable. Anyway, so I stopped trying to breastfeed, and I guess stopped breastfeeding, my attempt at it, when my son was 6 months old. And when he was about 8 months old, I said, okay, I think it's time for me to start doing something about this weight gain. So by the time I said, oh my gosh, I need to do something about this weight gain, I was literally 99 kilos. Please note that for my BMI and for, basically my height and the weight I should be relatively between 50 and 65 kilos. So I'm 99. Yeah. So I said, okay, whoa, let me do something about it. So in the past, I have never really had an issue with obesity. Maybe I was chubby at certain points in my life, but I've never had an issue with being obese. So that was really It was a really strange, uh, it was really strange for me, and I didn't know what to do. So I did what I would do when before I'd feel a little bloated, like when I was in university. I would just go for a jog, literally, just go run around. My roommate and I used to go and play in the pitch next to where we were staying, and we'll just go play games. Sometimes run around with the ball, play basketball. I say basketball because I still can't play, but we thought we were. And football with a bunch of boys who were there as well. And just basically just be active. Do it for like 3 days. Tummy goes down, good to go. So I thought, let me just do what I know. So luckily, my husband had bought a bike, a stationary bike for exercise. And so I jumped on that thing and I went for it. I cycled, I did it on a daily. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I have to do something about my diet as well, of which I had never been conscious about anything I put in my mouth. So I feel like eating bread. I feel like eating fried things, things loaded with carbs. I was all about enjoying my food. So I was like, oh, snap, I have to do something about my diet. So I binge Google searched, looked for so many things I could do. And long story short, I said, okay, this is the plan. For me to get, oh, by the way, I had a goal. So this was somewhere in the course of 2017. I knew by beginning of 2018, my husband and I discussed possibly, hopefully, conceiving again. Yes, so we wanted to get another child shortly after. So I'm like, I have a timeline, let's do this. I said, okay, went online, discovered how many calories should I be eating. I was told, I don't know which app, which website I read that said, okay, you're going to have to consume not more than 1,200 calories to achieve your goal in a short space of time. I was like on it. So I downloaded an app. Every time I'd eat something or plan my meals, I'll make sure that I stick to the number of calories. So I did that. So let's say on average, I think I was consuming maybe between 2,500 calories and 3,000 calories a day on average. But by the time I went on my diet, the target was 1,200 calories. Yeah, for real. When I did that, ironically, I lost my appetite. Like completely. So there were days I'd consume 700 calories. There were days I'd consume 800. Even reaching 1,000 became a struggle because my appetite just completely went. So let's say this is like what, May or so, June. So I remember in July one day I went to work. There was a radio show I used to have on a Sunday morning. So I went to work and I felt a little lightheaded. I was like, it's okay, I'll be fine. I'll eat lunch when I'm supposed to eat lunch, which was supposed to be at my in-laws that day. So at the end of my show, my husband picked me up with my son. We went to my mother-in-law's place, and they had a small function they were having. And in the middle of that, I started feeling really dizzy, really even more lightheaded than I was feeling before. And long story short, I collapsed. Like I got dizzy, collapsed, and thought, okay, I think I just need to eat. I ate the lunch late, so I was like, oh, I'm just hungry. My mother-in-law's like, are you sure? Like, what do we need to do? I'm like, no. I just think I ate late. But ironically, after that, I got worse. I felt even more dizzy. By the time I went to bed, I was feeling awful. That whole night, I was just throwing up. It reached a point where I couldn't see. I was dizzy. My vision was completely impaired. And by morning, the world around me was spinning. I was like, what's going on? I forgot to mention that on top of eating 800 to 1,000 calories a day, on average, I was also on that bike. It's both a stationary bike and elliptical, so I was doing both for at least an hour a day. I would actually come home late from work and jump on that bike and do my thing 7 days a week. So I didn't know what I was doing to my body. It's only, I think, years later when in hindsight, when I'm like, oh, I think I pushed myself in the wrong direction. But anyway, we can talk about that in future videos. So long story short, I collapsed. I was admitted in hospital. No one understood what the problem was. I saw specialists. I saw a cardiologist. I saw an ENT. We started with the general practitioner, and they were just like, we don't know. So I saw these specialists. Went to a hospital. They just said, "Oh, you just go home, rest, you'll be fine." But I couldn't explain to anyone that I could not see properly. My one of my eyes started like, I looked like I was squinting. What was squint? I was squinted. Ah, man, it was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess. I couldn't walk because of that, because I couldn't see, so I couldn't walk. I was also feeling kind of weak. Ended up 2 weeks later admitted in a different hospital, and they did a CT scan on my brain. They thought that maybe I had a brain tumor. There was also the thought that maybe I don't know. They just thought there's something wrong with the brain. So discovered that there was nothing, and was sent home. So it was a very confusing time. But the one silver lining, the silver lining was I got better, but really slowly. So very slowly, day by day, I gained my strength. My eyesight wasn't as blurry. The spinning feeling just sort of, went. It was actually vertigo, kind of went. And I eventually was able to refocus. I was so happy I could finally see my baby's face. Um, and I eventually became okay. It took me about 2 months to reach that point of saying I can now go to work. I can now I'm now fine. I wasn't completely fine, but I was mostly fine. So I believe that the reason for that was because of my drastic change in consumption of calories or my diet, and also how I went from zero exercise to pushing myself like crazy without any guidance. Long story short, for several months I didn't do anything. So that happened like July of that year. By August, September, I was okay. Once I felt I was okay, end of October, I went back at it. But I thought, let me now be a little wiser. I did more research, and eventually went from eating, maybe that time I was eating a diet of maybe just over 2,000 calories, 2,200 to 2,500, and now I reduced gradually to 2,000, then reduced gradually to 1,800, and I just didn't let myself starve. And then I also focused on eating the right things. So I was eating a lot of whole grain foods, a lot of natural foods, vegetables, lean meat, mostly white meat. So fish and chicken were my thing. And even when I'd snack, I'd eat like nuts. I'd eat chia. I had chia seeds. I'd eat, very, very nutritious foods. And by the end of that year, so 2 months later from trying to do it properly, I reached 90 kilos. So I did lose weight. I went back to working out, but I did it very gradually. I started just 10 minutes a day for a few days, then 20 minutes. Eventually I reached an hour again, but I would even have breaks. I'll say, hey, okay, not every day, I understood the concept of the importance of resting and how that is also important for one to be healthy. So I eventually got better, and I conceived shortly after. I was like, yay, but oh man, there goes my progress. So that pregnancy came with cravings, and we can talk about that another time. But yeah, so it was really insane, but it was so worth it, because that very difficult process led me to who I am today, and to this video, and to this channel, of which I'm going to share more with you and also hear from you. The point of Lost and Found is basically how to be healthy all round. Yes, I'm talking about mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I'm all about that these days. And I feel that that has had such a huge impact on me and has had a ripple effect on people around me or close to me. And that has impacted other people. And man, it's just been a phenomenal journey and it's still ongoing. So I am still obese. I have not reached my goal. And you'll be seeing in the pictures here that I have, a long way to go. I'm still obese, but I am definitely not the person I was 2 years ago. And hey, in every way, physically, mentally, my emotional health is just, oh my God, emotionally, I feel amazing. And I'm here to share that with you. So if you want to be a part of this journey, or if you feel that you're in that place where maybe you want to lose weight, or maybe it's not a weight thing, you want to get healthier, or you feel you need to get motivated to get back there, or you feel frustrated but you're not really sure what to do, um, welcome. This is the space for you. I just really want to note something. I am not an expert. I'm not an expert when it comes to health. Even when it comes to mental health, I am not an expert. I'm literally just someone sharing her story and saying what's working for me, what has not worked for me, giving a few tips on very common things here and there that I've learned along my journey, and just encouraging you to join me. So that is it. So please subscribe to my channel. Tell everybody you know who this could possibly impact to subscribe to this channel. And hey, let us do this. Let us do this. I'm so excited.